This is the NAVEE ST3 Pro. Under your wing, I've been waiting to find something that makes getting around the city a little easier and a little more fun. So when NAVEE reached out to me to send out their new ST3 Pro scooter for the first time, I figured, why not? I'd never really tried one of these before. I've always seen them around, so let's see what it's really like. So right out of the box, first impressions, it is really heavy, but it also feels really solid, really premium, and the tires are super thick. I feel like it's going to absorb a lot of shock when riding down bumpy roads, and the suspension is next level. Like, we'll touch on this later, but it really is one of the best suspensions I've ever seen on an e-scooter, and it looks like it's built to handle a lot more than just city life. Just a quick heads up, this video is sponsored by NAVEE. They did want me to check out their scooter, so they sent it out to me, but all my opinions are completely my own. The entire setup process only took a couple minutes. All you need to do is unfold the scooter, tighten the latch, attach the handlebars, and you're pretty much done. So before I took it out for the first time, I did want to charge it up just to get like the full capacity to truly see what the range was and what the performance is like at max charge. And it just charges up using a single port on the side of the scooter. There's an included charging brick, and it takes about 6 hours to charge fully if you have it completely empty. But design-wise, this is a really clean scooter. It has a nice matte black finish, minimal branding, and everything feels really tight, really snug, and really well thought out. One thing I couldn't get over after I took this scooter out was just how smooth it rides. It does have 10-inch self-healing tires, which is actually a pretty big deal. You're less likely to get a flat tire, and it's also just way smoother when you are riding over cracks. And when riding, there is a display in the middle which kind of shows you all your information, like your speed as well as the setting you're in. And the display is definitely bright enough to see outside, even in direct sunlight. I've been riding this around all day now, and riding experience is actually really nice. Like, suspension is great, especially when you're going over the bumps. Like, this thing really does absorb the shock. So on the right handlebar here, this is where you have your throttle control as well as your power button. Hold that down to power on. You can then click it to change whether your light's on. It's just a short hold. And then a double press will actually cycle through your different modes. So you have a walking mode for if you're not riding. You also have a regular drive mode, and you have a sport mode as well. So that just makes you go a little bit faster. And then in the middle here, you have your screen, which shows you your range as well as your speed, the mode you're in. And right now I have anti-slip as well, which just helps with traction. You can also put it into park mode. So when you're not using it, it will display a P on here. And then just to the left here, this is where we have our bell. So, you know, if there's someone coming or we need to alert someone, we're behind them. And just below, you actually have your turn signals. So left and right, press it once to activate it, press it again in the same direction to turn it off. And then on the side here, this is where we actually have the lights for our blinkers. So obviously on the left side, right side, and it is on the front and back there. So in terms of the brakes, the one on the right is for your rear brake, the one on the left is for the front brake, but I'd advise not pressing it all the way, because if you're going quite fast, you can actually just kind of move forwards and potentially fly over the handlebars. So, you know, gradually use both of them, but there's also regenerative braking, which you can customize inside the app. So if you want that really high, it will be a little bit jerky when you stop, but it's going to use some of that energy from slowing down from the motors and reintegrate that into the battery to give you a little bit more range, which is really nice. Honestly, one of my favorite things about this scooter is the app experience. It's really well put together. You can see the range in here. You can customize things like the LED lights. There is LED strips going down each side of the scooter, and you can customize those. You can just change the color as well as the transition cycle. But inside this app, you have the ability to lock or unlock the scooter, and you can also use Bluetooth unlock. So when you walk up to it, it will unlock using your phone's Bluetooth, which is a really nice feature similar to on a lot of EVs. Inside of here, you can customize things like energy recovery. So if you want regenerative braking when you're going down hills to actually, you know, trickle charge up your battery, then you can change the strength. So you can do low, medium, or high. But if you do have it pretty high, I found the experience to be more jerky because obviously every time you let go of the throttle, it is using regenerative braking. So personally, I found the sweet spots probably in medium mode, or if you don't really care about the extra charge, then low mode just overall gives you a better, smoother experience. In terms of the light settings, there are auto sensing headlights which turn on, as well as a tail light. Now, one of my favorite parts of this app is the more features section right at the bottom. And inside of here, that's where you can control things like your acceleration, as well as your maximum speed and your startup speed. So startup speed is the speed you need to be pushing the scooter at before the motors will kick in. And you can actually customize that. So you can make it so the motor works from 0 miles per hour. So if you're just at a standpoint, you can press that throttle and immediately zoom off. It's a nice feature in practice, but I found that I can accidentally press the throttle and then it can just shoot off like crazy. So I do recommend you have it a little bit higher, maybe like 3 or 5 miles per hour, just to be on the safe side. There is a maximum speed setting, so you can dial in the exact maximum speed you want to be able to reach. This is really nice if you have local laws that you need to comply to, so you don't accidentally like go too fast. There's also this acceleration section, and you can choose between turbo or eco mode. Eco mode will just be a slightly slower start, but it will give you more range, and turbo will just give you that extra kick. And like I mentioned, you do have proximity Bluetooth lock with your phone, and you can customize those settings in here by setting up a passcode or whether proximity is on, and you can even control how much time elapses until the scooter locks itself. But yeah, it's a super convenient app. I feel like you really do need it to get the full experience out of the scooter. So before taking this out, like as soon as I got it, I did go ahead and check out the local laws, and it turns out in the city of Toronto, you're not actually allowed e-scooters. You're not allowed them on sidewalks, cycle paths, or even on the road. And so I had to take it out the city to test it. But there are other local municipalities which do allow e-scooters, and they're currently doing a trial, but that is just a very Toronto thing. So if you're in other cities, they might have different laws, but definitely make sure to check them before actually purchasing one of these. And to be honest, downtown's very flat, very boring, and I really wanted to see how this scooter performed in real world conditions through smooth roads, rough roads with potholes, as well as some hills, stop and go traffic. And so I just rode outside the court to get that experience. The first thing I really noticed when riding the board is just how solid and stable it is. There's no wobble, solid steering, and there's really no shake or rocking at all when you are standing on the deck. Acceleration is super smooth, and it cruises from around 25 to 30 kilometers an hour or 15 to 20 miles per hour pretty comfortably. The maximum speed the scooter is capable of is 40 kilometers an hour or 24 miles per hour, but it can be limited based on local laws. One of the things I was personally super impressed with was just how fast the scooter can brake, and the braking is really solid. There's obviously brakes on front and back, and you kind of need to evenly use them so you don't fly forwards over the handlebars, but this scooter uses disc brakes. But honestly, after seeing this and unboxing it and riding it and just feeling how premium it really is, and comparing this to what I've seen on the streets from a lot of other people riding these cheaper, flimsier scooters that really don't seem roadworthy, this scooter handles bumps and curbs just a whole lot better. And honestly, that's thanks to the flexibility of the deck, as well as the insane suspension system that you have on the front and back wheels. And it's definitely so overkill. So overkill, in fact, that it just feels like you're riding super high off the ground, and it means that you're just really tall. Like, I'm a tall person, so standing on this, it makes me feel extra tall. And you do have a lot of clearance, so if you are going, up and down off curbs, or if there's any sort of bumps, then you're really not going to have any problem with it hitting the underneath of the deck, which is really nice. But I personally have plenty of room when I am standing on the scooter deck. I'm a size 12 shoe, the deck's pretty wide, and there's solid grip, so overall I feel like I have enough space to stand on it in pretty much any way I want. And if you're curious about like the ratio to my body, I'm 6'1", and this thing, it feels stable. Like, it's definitely very road capable, and it definitely doesn't feel like a toy. I personally think one of the most impressive and shocking things is just how much range you're able to get out of this. It's capable of up to 75 kilometers or 46.6 miles. But realistically, you're likely going to see around like 50 to 60 kilometers in normal city riding, possibly even less. It really depends whether you're in sports mode with turbo acceleration. Then you'll see a much quicker drop in that range, especially if you're going uphill and you're making full use of the throttle. But if you are in eco mode, you're more likely to get closer to that number. But honestly, that's still more than plenty for most people. For a full day's worth of errands, commuting, and just going around and about doing your daily tasks, I feel like this is more than enough. And like, from my experience using it over the last couple of weeks, I haven't had a single time where it died or even got close to dying, other than the fact that I forgot to charge it one day and I used it 2 days in a row. There is a folding mechanism built in, which is really nice for if you are packing up the scooter, or maybe you want to take it somewhere on a road trip, then you can put it away in your car fairly easily. I guess it might be kind of useful for public transport, but personally I feel like you want the handlebar up because this thing's a lot easier to push than lift. This thing's 24 kilograms in weight, so yeah, you definitely don't want to carry it upstairs. But I rode it day and night, and the lights on the front and back are super bright for those night rides. There's reflective strips on the side as well. And obviously you do have those color changing LED strips down the side. And I think overall with this scooter, there's just a lot of small details that make this a lot better than what else is out there. But all those small things, they really do add up, and they make it feel a lot more premium than you'd expect. From the app, to the build, to the riding performance, this is honestly a great e-scooter. Like, I really love how powerful it is, especially going up hills. Every time I press that throttle, the kick really did surprise me. So as long as you're in a place that allows e-scooters, and this is within your budget, it's around 1,000 USD, but it does come cheaper on sale, then I feel like this is a great option. It keeps up with all the other traffic on the road, it fits in your trunk, it's great for like condo life, short rides to work, going to the gym, coffee runs. This is ideal, although it does take up a little bit more space than I'd like, especially in my living room. But as long as you have some space to store the scooter, it's no problem whatsoever. So huge thanks to NAVEE for sponsoring today's video and sending out the ST3 Pro. The link's down below if you do want to check it out or buy it, and let me know in the comments section if you'd ride one.
I don't know the traffic rules. They go?